Hello.
Hello.
We have returned after several months.
Again.
Yay.
Whoop whoop. Dylan's recording the audio this time because he's going to
Yes.
start doing full editing rather than both of us doing different parts of editing. I think he's doing too much work, but he says he's okay with it. So I'll take it because editing sucks testicles. So I'm just doing all the script work and research instead.
Yes.
Hurrah! What an eventful while it has been too. How long has it been since we uploaded last? I think it's been like a month.
Oh yeah, 1 month.
Haha! 66 views, not fucking bad actually. We discovered the meaning of life. That's why we got so many views, because we discovered the meaning of life.
Yes.
Also because I commented with every YouTube account I have.
Very cool.
Every single one that I own. Hey, welcome to SWJW, also known as So We Just Watched. There's been a little bit of a rise in interest in the channel, not necessarily a lot, but a little bit, which is cool.
We're gonna be famous.
Of us have... Yo, I'm already famous, it's just that I don't have a large following. All of the big Twitter users know of me and speak to me, but like... I say all of the big YouTube Twitter users. I mean on the based side of Twitter. But
all
none
the
of them
cool people.
advertise me. I'm joking. I don't. Oh, it's not gonna come off as a joke. The amount of people on the internet, when you go, no, I was joking. It was supposed to be an attempt at humor. That guy, what a classic excuse. I was just joking, and it's like, bro, it's clear as fucking day, unless your day is not very clear because you live in Beijing, but still.
Got him. Take that, Beijing.
Take that from me, Beijing, you polluted space looking ass bitch.
Haha.
Haha. Anyway, welcome to SWJW. I'm Jax. This is Dylan.
I'm Gibbon.
His dead Gibbon. Stop typing. It'll pick up on the audio.
Oh.
So, we just watched Memento, which is directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Guy Pearce, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Joe Pantoliano. Haha, flawless, even though I had no idea what I was doing. I, scrambled for the information because I didn't actually write the intro. I was like, shit, that's the one thing I forgot to do. I just had to, skim read for names, and I saw Christopher Nolan, and I was like, that's the one!
I wish I had that skill. Even reading something 10 times over, I'll screw it up.
To be an English major. I'm not. So where do we go from here? I guess we give general thoughts, overall opinions on the topic. Pretty much we give our, the actual overview, the synopsis, and so on and so forth a bit later. But the general idea of the movie is kind of like a... is it reverse chronological order and chronological order kind of intertwined like a zipper? If you've ever seen a zipper, put on a picture of a zipper on the screen. It kind of goes left, right, left, right, left, right, all in a different order. So you do that, but imagine the zipper goes 2 different ways at once. That's kind of what this movie is. It's a really interesting way. Most movies, I don't think, could get away with this kind of order of events, specifically because it just would not work in the storytelling aspect of everything, but it works perfectly for this exact film. I cannot tell you another film off the top of my head that it would work with. And it kind of goes through the life of a guy who has anterograde amnesia. Don't mind that.
I'm gonna amplify it by 30 times because I'm in charge of audio editing now.
No, but he's got anterograde amnesia, which pretty much means he's got short-term memory loss. He literally cannot make new memories. Every, I think, maybe 5 minutes, he loses track of what he's done, and he remembers everything by writing notes and putting tattoos on his body. The story follows him pretty much going and trying to get revenge for the rape and murder of his wife in their home, so-and-so amount of years or whatever ago, and kind of is being guided by people along the way, and being misled, and it's kind of it's an interesting one because I wouldn't even I don't think I could compare him to a pop culture icon who does something similar, because he is a very unique character. He's like if Dory and Batman had a baby with, like, who's the most revenge-driven character you can think of?
Yes, when Batman does the deed with a fish.
Dylan! I was asking who you think the most revenge-driven characters are.
Oh, I forgot his name. That one child from Toy Story that melts the army mans and tears apart the toys.
He's like if you combined Batman, well, with his anti-hero, dark, kind of fight crime, fuck people up for your own self-interests, with Dory from Finding Nemo, the one who literally struggles so hard to make new memories, and then maybe Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. If I was to choose a vengeance-driven character, Eren would probably be the one I think of. So if you combine all three of them, you get Leonard, our main character. And I think it's an interesting take on a revenge plot. We hear the same old revenge plot over and over and over and over again. This person did this bad thing to my dog in John Wick, for example. So I went and I killed a bunch of people, or I tortured a bunch of people, or I kicked the ass of a bunch of people, kind of like Lucy and Anna from the last movie we reviewed. I can't believe I remembered their names. From Martyrs. It's the same thing over and over again, told in like slightly different ways, but Leonard and the storytelling aspect and the character development and then character reverse development makes it really, really interesting. And I think it is one of my favorite revenge plots, next to, I don't know if you could call it a revenge plot, but I'm going to just for the sake of it. It's one of my favorite revenge plots next to Hard Candy. Yeah, I don't know, but I always saw that kind of as an almost revenge plot sort of situation, but not quite, but close enough. We don't know her actual motivations for doing it, and I wish we did. But yeah, it's like one of my favorite revenge or revenge-esque plots next to Hard Candy. And that's what I have to say on my general opinions on this one. Wow, that took me a while to get around to what I was trying to say.
I don't remember a whole lot about this one. I forgot we even watched it originally.
So your name is Leonard?
Yes, I am Leonard.
Oh.
Leonard is me. It was me the whole time.
Hi, Guy Pearce. I heard your dad was a New Zealander. That's cool. He's cooler than you because you're not a New Zealander.
But yeah, I don't remember much of it. However, I do remember the whole going back and forth thing. I've never seen that in a movie before. Like, you have it going forward as usual, but also going from the end towards the start at the same time. Just kind of switching back and forth. It's weird. It was very confusing. The whole movie was very confusing. I felt like I was Leonard the whole time. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't form memories of the entire movie. It was just jumping all over the place. So yeah, it was confusing but cool.
I think that is, if I'm going to give a downside to it, and I might go into more detail later, is maybe people with an attention deficit disorder, so ADD or ADHD. It makes it maybe a little harder to pay attention, or it could also make it easier for some people with ADD or ADHD because it's quite fast-paced.
Well, it definitely made it more difficult for me.
Yeah, I found myself being drawn in more than normal, so the H is really a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's our general overview, thoughts, and stuff. Oh, I'm gonna burp again.
Nice.
Thanks. So, we're gonna move on to phase 1. I'm so sorry for those who started watching from the start and have had to listen to this every single time we say it. We're gonna, because there are people who are new. Phase 1 is where we discuss what we liked, ranging from quotes to parts of the film to specific shots to acting and so on. So pretty much what we like about the film. And as always, Dylan, here's the mic, boy.
I've got something in my eye. I'm dying. Help me, there's dirt in my eyes.
Get out of your own eyes.
I'm trying. Yeah, what I liked. I liked pretty much everything, but at the same time there was like hints of hatred, just because I was so confused, and being confused makes me angry. I like the whole concept of, you know, going from start to end and end to start at the same time. That's like the only thing about the movie I've even brought up in general. However, I think it's cool.
He's a little rusty, guys. Be easy on him.
Yeah.
I really like the way they unraveled the plot. The way they kind of didn't tell you what the fuck was going on until right at the end, and they hit you with all these different twists at once. So there's one twist where Teddy, Leonard's friend, who we see throughout the whole movie, has actually been deceiving him for over a year and kind of telling Leonard, oh, this guy's your guy, this guy's your guy, this guy's your guy, and pretty much using him so that he doesn't have to get his own hands dirty. Telling him, this is John G, this is John G, this is John G, which is the name of the guy that Leonard's trying to hunt down. And at the very end, or almost at the very end, Leonard kind of has a go at Teddy has a go at Leonard, and he says, it's so stupid, pretty much, that you're looking for a John G, and with you being unable to make new memories, it becomes really easy to trick you into getting a John G, because John G is such a common name. Even I have John G in my name, because his name is Jimmy G. So, it's such a common name. Like, I helped you get your guy over a year ago, and you're just like, whoa, okay, so first of all, this guy's been deceiving him the whole time. And then you get to one where, like, there's this helpless barmaid, and, her boyfriend's gone missing, and, oh my god, where did he go? What are we going to do? And then turns out that she uses Leonard and his lack of being able to form new memories again to get him to drive another, like, rival drug dealer out of town. But then we go back and we realize that, oh my god, Leonard actually killed her boyfriend before he even helped her drive this rival drug dealer out of town, and she has no idea, because he's got his car and his clothes and everything. It's really strange. And then, these are the fun little things that kind of drive home his lack of memory. Like, she gets one of the gross dudes at the bar to spit in his mug and then fills the drink, and then he goes and sits down and his memory resets, and she hands him the drink and he drinks it because he's got no idea. All that kind of thing is just really interesting. He deceives himself at the end, which I thought was really cool. He deceives himself by writing himself a note, tricking him into killing Teddy because of the way that Teddy used him and kind of betrayed him. And so we find out that that's who he was hunting down through the whole movie, was his friend, who he'd literally just tricked himself into hunting down for the sake of getting revenge. So he's a very revenge-driven character, and I think they drive it home without being like, I want revenge, like every 5 seconds. But even then, he does often bring up, like, oh, I've got anterograde amnesia, and I'm trying to find someone, and everyone's like, I know! Which I thought was really funny, because they're like, yeah, you've said that, buddy. We know.
Man, I already do that without having it.
Same. That's a big mood. Yeah, so I really like that. I really like that they kind of drove home his revenge plot and made him a bit more of an anti-hero rather than just like a sad vengeful lover. He has actually become a sad vengeful lover who doesn't realize he's already gotten his revenge 10 times over, because he has no way to remember that unless he writes himself a note. And then there's, again, like fun little things where they the characters manipulate his disorder, like the hotel clerk giving him a second room so that he has to pay for 2 rooms, like a dickhead. But he's so lighthearted about it, he doesn't even care.
That guy sucks, but I like him anyway.
Yeah, right? That guy sucks, but he's honest with Leonard about it. He just forgets. So it's just like, yeah. I think they portrayed his character really well as being, like, struggling every night with these issues pertaining his wife. He has nightmares, like, every night. And he tries everything from, like, burning her stuff to having prostitutes basically come and then brush her teeth and everything and leave so that he can kind of feel like his wife's there again or something. I don't remember exactly why he did that, but there was a good reason behind it. And then, over top of everything, there's actually a pretty interesting ending to it, where Teddy alleges that our main character was always Sammy. Now, Sammy Jenkins is a character that was, he had anterograde amnesia, and during Leonard's stint as a insurance dude. I don't know what they're called. Handler, counselor, man, peddler, if you want to be, a bit negative about it, which I'm keen on. Fuck the insurance peddlers, dude.
Haha.
They're assholes. That's their job, though. They have to be assholes. So, Leonard pretty much refused to help Mr. Jenkins because, it's a psychological thing and they don't give insurance for it. But it's not a psychological thing, it is an actual disorder, and he can't remember anything. And so Sammy forgets he's given his wife an insulin shot. So he gives her another one, and another one, and another one, because she keeps saying, hey, it's time for my shot, it's time for my shot, it's time for my shot, over and over and over again. And then he killed her. And, Teddy at the end of the thing says, you were Sammy Jenkins, like, that kind of thing. But then a theory that we'll discuss later actually kind of goes against it, which is nifty. But that's what I liked about it. That's what I liked about the film.
I did like how confused it made me throughout the whole thing. Like, I like when something can manage to do that so easily without just being random garbage, of course. I can never remember. So his wife died from him, and it wasn't actually the John G guy, right?
That's what Teddy says, yeah. But we don't see that. And in fact, I don't think it's true.
So either it was that, or was the John G, someone that he killed over a year ago, or was Teddy the John G?
John G was the one he killed over a year ago. Or at least,
Okay.
again, that's what Teddy says.
Yeah, by the end of it, I was thinking it was Teddy.
Yeah.
I was thinking that for half the movie.
Well, it's because Leonard leads himself to think it's Teddy on purpose. So at the very end of the film, we see the start of the film. The start of the film is Leonard killing the girl's, the barmaid's boyfriend, whose name is also another John. So, and then as he's dying, as this dude, that Teddy, who is a corrupt cop, by the way, has gotten Leonard to kill, he says something about Sam Jenkins. And then Leonard kind of goes, whoa, hold on. I don't know how you would know about Jenkins unless I knew you. And then he confronts Teddy about it, and Teddy says, well, you killed the dude over a year ago. I've just been using you for this, and that, and you are Sammy Jenkins. And so then Leonard writes himself a note saying, don't trust Teddy. And then writes down Teddy's car's license plate, and then gets it tattooed on himself. And then so through the whole rest of the movie, the person he is hunting down without even realizing it is Teddy, because he has tricked himself into doing it.
I like when movies mess with your brain, and this definitely does that a lot. It's been how long since we watched it, and I still don't understand it.
I wonder why.
Because my last two brain cells ate each other.
Okay, Dylan has no brain cells, so we're going to actually move on to the second phase already, which is phase 2. It's unsurprisingly what we didn't like about the film, general criticism and, stuff like that.
What I didn't like, obviously, also didn't like that it was so confusing. It hurts my brain. I like it when they make things complicated and everything, but not too complicated to the point where you don't know anything that's happening whatsoever.
Well, I knew what was happening.
Yeah, but your big brain.
No, I just paid attention.
I was paying attention. They just had me thinking 4 things at once. Makes it very difficult. I disliked the part where they made the man spit in his drink. I hated that. I am a bit of a germaphobe, and that is a no-no.
Yeah, I felt
Very
that
big no-no.
It was disgusting.
Wasn't the first scene in the entire thing when he killed Teddy?
Was it Teddy? I think it was, yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah. After seeing that, because it, of course, gave away the ending, throughout, the entire movie, seeing, Teddy and any characters like that on the screen, I was just thinking, yeah, he's the bad guy, he's going to die. It's the way they laid out the movie is a cool concept, but there's some side effects that aren't so great, like that where it gives away major things like that.
Yeah, who the antagonist is.
Yeah, from the very beginning, we knew who the real bad guy was that he was gonna kill and all that.
But then we also didn't really know what the ending was going to be, because the ending actually revealed to us that Teddy wasn't necessarily the bad guy. Kind of everyone, including Leonard, was the bad guy.
Yeah.
There were no actual good guys in the thing, and the reason that Leonard killed Teddy was out of spite, so he definitely was not the good guy in that situation either. But we didn't know that that's why, or how he was going to make himself kill this guy or anything. So I can actually forgive that bit.
Yeah. Like, if you can, like, fully understand the movie when you watch it, then, yeah, it still works. They did it in a way where it still is all good and everything. But, you know, like I said, I originally thought Teddy was the John G that did the crime and all that he was actually hunting down. Out of the, like, 20 ideas that it was trying to give off, that's the one that I ended up sticking with. So throughout the whole thing, I was actually just there thinking, okay, yeah, this is the bad guy. He's just gonna kill him at the end. He's gonna realize that he's the one, and he's just been playing him like a damn fiddle.
But then the interesting part, again, if you're paying attention to the movie and actually have the ability to comprehend it, is that, well, he's not that guy, and he actually helped get rid of that guy already.
Yeah.
He just didn't tell him afterwards.
So he wasn't necessarily a bad guy or a good guy.
He was just a cop out to get rid of the criminal scum in his neighborhood, and the way he decided to do that was by getting Lena to kill them, and then eventually he's just started using them to get like more money.
So everyone's a bad guy. I don't remember what the deal was with, I forget her name, the woman
The guy's
that was
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just trying to drive the rival drug dealer out of town because she was scummy too.
I remember at some point she was like all beat up and
because Leonard had hit her, and she used that as the way to trick him.
Went outside for 2 seconds and came back like, someone beat me up. Go kill them.
And like verbally abusing him over and over and over again, and then being like, who cares, you're not going to remember it anyway.
Yeah, that's the part I was trying to think of, because those were like pretty much the same scene.
Yeah.
That was rude. I don't like it. I don't like when people are rude to the disabled.
Oh, I don't like that she kind of got her way.
Yeah.
Like, we feel a little sorry for her because obviously Leonard murdered her boyfriend.
Mm.
But then we find out how shit of a person she is as well, and then that immediately dissipates. And then you've kind of got just her there. Still there, and nothing's gonna happen to her.
Yeah, I hate when characters get to be garbage and then get what they want immediately after.
Yeah.
I always hate that so much.
Yeah.
I want to throw them in a hole and leave them there.
Yeah, because he was trying to write down not to trust her, like, at all, because she had manipulated him, and then he just forgot, because he couldn't find a pen. Yeah, that was really disappointing.
What about you? What did you hate about this?
Nothing at all, actually. I really
Nice.
enjoyed this film. I think there were definitely some plot points where I was getting a little confused, but they did wind up at least resolving most of them. Like you said, there was the issue of she just kind of got her way, and so did a bunch of other people, like the hotel clerk and everything, who just kind of got away with tricking this dude into, you know, take his money, or, you know, use him to get rid of someone you don't like, or anything like that, and there were seemingly no consequences for it, which was overall unsatisfying, as, yeah, we got rid of this guy who we didn't even know was a bad guy for the whole thing. We got rid of him, and that is somewhat satisfying, but since we didn't know he was actually a bad person throughout the whole thing, it just became less of a satisfying ending than it could have been. And then, yeah, you've got characters who used him and abused him throughout the whole thing that received pretty much no consequences whatsoever. Which was, again, like, if the whole thing is a revenge plot, I want to see him get the revenge on the other people who wronged him, which was what he kind of said in the end. But it just kind of implies that the hotel clerk and the girl are going to get no consequences for their actions.
Yeah, it is annoying that pretty much every character just gets to use the forgetful man for whatever they want.
Yeah. That would be my main criticism, I think.
Yeah.
Is that when you've got a revenge plot, the number one thing I don't recommend doing is having other people hurt this person and then him just kind of forget about it. Which I know is his whole thing, is that he just forgets about it, but, you know, it's not satisfying that way. It's not a satisfying way to end the film. You know, he's still shit off because he's still going to be tormented by the fact there's this guy out there, you know, who killed and raped his wife. Do we know if Sam Jenkins was an actual person? And this, that, and the other. And then you've got no actual resolution for the other people who fucked him over in the thing. And we know that he's just going to continue doing this until he can't do it anymore, or until he finally decides that he's killed enough people.
And yet, to be fair, having all these people manage to just mess with them and get what they want with no consequences, it does leave it open for several sequels. I'd like to see Memento 2, where he hunts down the motel owner and shoots him for charging him for 2 rooms.
Yeah, right? Or it at least leaves it, like, if it was a serious wrong, like the chick, you know?
Yeah.
At least do maybe something. Like, she got hit in the face. Oh, fuck. Oh, God, really? Oh, no. Other than that, she gets out scot-free.
Yeah, something like the guy charging for the second room. He's a cool guy. He gets a pass. He's fine. He doesn't need to be killed. However, everyone else needs to die.
Yeah. That's kind of all I really disliked about it.
Overall, it was very good.
Yeah. So, next up is Phase 3, which is pretty much, if we could do anything differently, how would we do it?
I would want to make it less confusing, but I don't know how that could be done without, like, messing up the whole thing. I think it's, like, complex and precise enough that, like, you change one thing, it messes up all of it.
Yeah, Nolan definitely knows what he's doing. He's a good director.
I think it would be cool if they could find a way to not have people fully get away with all the garbage they're doing.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, everything seems good.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe, don't use the tattoos, but perhaps have him... I get it's the whole, he can never get everything he wants, he can never exact revenge on everyone who wrongs him and everything, which is a good, like, way to look at it, but it just kind of gets brushed over, so maybe I would say elaborate on that a little more, maybe make that a little more prevalent, because you just kind of leave those bits open, and then we're just kind of like, okay, so what about the chick who fucked him over, and what about the dude who charged him shitloads of money? Maybe someone else exacts revenge on them on his behalf, you know, as long as they kind of get theirs.
I completely forgot there was even the whole tattoo thing. That was another thing that slightly annoyed me. Every time I saw it, I was just like, well, that's not necessary. You don't need to...
That's not sanitary.
You don't need to go and permanently tattoo yourself. Just, like, get like, a notebook. Put a label on it.
Well, he does have notebook. I think he tattoos the really important bits on him. Things that he cannot lose.
Yeah, I figured that would be it. But at the same time, like, there's gotta be a way to easily keep the important stuff.
Nothing's more permanent than that tattoo, though.
Yeah, just like maybe have a specific part of the notebook that has all the really important stuff. Have a copy of it somewhere, maybe with a sticky note somewhere where he'd clearly notice it to let him know where it is.
He has that with everything else, though. The reason he has all the important stuff tattooed on him is because it'll never leave him. He looks in the mirror and there it is. Like, he won't think to check his notes because of his amnesia. You know, he doesn't even remember that he's got a notebook to remember this stuff in because of the amnesia.
But I also assume at a certain point there would be enough tattoos that, like, of course he forgets that he has them until he sees them. But once there's enough of them, I imagine you would look in the mirror and you wouldn't even notice that there's a new one because there's already so much going on.
But he might notice it because he's, you know, maybe he's a little more observant than you are, Dylan.
Well, yeah, I just mean, it works up to a certain point.
Well then, apply that logic on the notebook. Like, when you've got that many notes in the notebook, how do you know what one to read? How do you know if you've added a new one in the last 24 to 48 hours without looking for specific dates? How do you even remember that the notebook's there?
I imagine the notebook is pretty much always on him or something, or always in clear sight, so, like, you know, wake up, forget everything, look over, the notebook's right there.
Not when he's, say, doing a car chase or when he's in another person's home. The only reason he remembers the drug dealer guy is because when he's hiding in the bathroom, he kind of wakes up and he goes, "Oh, why am I holding this wine bottle?"
I don't know. Whole thing's weird.
Is there anything else you would change?
Not really. If there was a way to change just the one thing, but I don't think that's even really possible.
What, how confusing it is?
Well, no, I think it kind of has to be confusing. I mean, the people getting whatever they want with no consequences thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing's annoying, but I think it is a bit necessary for it.
Yeah. It kind of shows the detrimental level of his amnesia, but then at the same time, it makes an unsatisfying viewing experience by the end of it.
Yeah, so it would be nice if there was something that could be done to change that into something else, but it's good the way it is. Don't think there's any way to change that.
Yeah. Again, though, maybe someone else exacts revenge on them, which could be fun.
They gotta make a sequel and call it Memento.
That's awful. Never say those words to me again. My stomach is telling me I have not eaten today.
Oh no.
So do we want to move on again?
Yeah.
Next up, we have kind of the more wordy and lengthy bit, which is Phase 4. We looked into the background of the director, actors, and other interesting things that happen regarding the film, the actors, and so on, and the overview of it. So I'll go ahead.
Story time. So Memento is a film that premiered at the 57th Venice International Film Festival on the 5th of September in 2000 and released in the US on the 16th of March 2001 and the 12th of April the same year in my country, New Zealand. It's like just under 2 hours long. It's a mystery thriller directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Guy Pearce, Kayanos, and Joe Pantoliano. And from a $9 million budget, it managed to rack up $40 million in the box office, essentially $31 million profit, at least according to Box Office Mojo. It's rated an 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 80% on Metacritic. So overall, people generally agree it's a good film. So now let's get on with the overview. At the start of the film, we have a Polaroid. It seems to rewind, going back into the camera as we reverse into seeing our main character Leonard shooting a man in the head. This film is interesting because we kind of get bits from the end of the movie and bits from the start of the movie, gradually zipping into each other back and forth until we actually reach the conclusion, kind of like a past-present kind of deal, differentiated by black and white and colour sequences, with the colour sequences going reverse chronologically. In the black and white sequences, we see Leonard talking to some unknown caller in his hotel room. We then learn that he has anterograde amnesia, meaning he cannot store new memories, and is forced to live out his own ones. Huh? What does that mean? What did I mean when I wrote this? Old ones! Yeah, I was about to say, maybe own is supposed to be old.
In the black and white sequences, we see Leonard talking to some unknown caller in his hotel room. We learn that he has anterograde amnesia, meaning that he cannot store new memories and is forced to live out his old ones and leave notes everywhere to remember things. He has to put full trust in his notes and his tattoos. It is shown he received this disorder from an attack by two men on him and his wife. He, and his photos and tattoos, reveal that he is hunting down a John or James G, who raped and killed his wife. He begins to talk about Sammy Jankis, a man who had the same condition back when Leonard worked in insurance. Sammy was unable to learn tasks through repetition, and so the condition was deemed psychological, and Sammy and his wife were refused insurance. Sammy's wife, in severe grief, would repeatedly ask Sammy to give her insulin shot, thinking that if it is purely psychological, he wouldn't overdose her. Unfortunately, he does give her an overdose, and she dies. The colour sequences are as follows. Again, this is pretty much in a backwards chronological order. Leonard directs himself to get the license plate of John G tattooed on himself. He finds a note in his clothes and goes to meet a bartender named Natalie, who resents him because his clothes and car closely resemble or are those of her boyfriend Jimmy Grant's. When she learns of Leonard's condition, she uses it to get him to run a man named Dodd out of town under the guise of having been hurt by this dude, and offers to run the license plate in return. Then Leonard meets a contact named Teddy, who warns about Natalie but still helps with getting rid of Dodd. Leonard finds a Polaroid, saying not to trust Teddy, and Natalie provides a license with Teddy's full name on it, John Edward Gamble, which is, at least to Leonard, his John G. Leonard drives Teddy to an abandoned building because of this, and shoots him as we saw at the start of the film. In the last black and white bit, Leonard meets with Teddy, an undercover cop who claims to have located John G., Jimmy Grant. Jimmy and Leonard meet at the abandoned building where Leonard chokes Jimmy and takes a Polaroid photo, which causes a transition from black and white to colour. Leonard swaps clothes with Jimmy, but as Jimmy is dying, he whispers Sammy, making Leonard doubt Jimmy's role in the situation as he has only told people he knows about Sammy. Teddy comes back and says that Jimmy was John G, and when Leonard doesn't believe him, he admits that he helped kill the real John G over a year ago and has been using Leonard ever since then. He says that John G is a ridiculously common name and that even he has a John G name. Furthermore, he says that the story of Sammy is actually the story of Leonard himself, which he has repressed out of guilt. After all of this, he burns the photo of Jimmy's body and in a monologue states that he will get back at all who have wronged him. So he writes down Teddy's number plate to trick his future self into believing that Teddy was his John G. The film ends with Leonard saying, "I have to believe in a world outside my own mind. I have to believe that my actions still have meaning, even if I can't remember them. I have to believe that when my eyes are closed, the world's still there." Do I believe the world's still there? Is it still out there? Yeah. We all need mirrors to remind ourselves who we are. I'm no different.
Alright, it's time to talk about people then. And we start with Christopher Edward Nolan. Born on the 30th of July in 1970, making him 50 years old, about to be 51. Congratulations, my dude, you the big 5'1". That's special for some reason, right?
You're also special.
Yes, I am, in multiple ways.
I would agree.
Anyway, he's 50 years old. He's a British-American film director. In his career overall, his films have grossed upwards of $5 billion. Very rich man. He make lot of the money. With a total of 34 Oscar nominations and 10 Oscar wins, that's a lot of Oscar mans. Overall, he has to be one of the most well-known or well-heard of directors in our recent history, alongside people like Quentin Tarantino, Steven Spielberg, Tim Burton. Look at these people. Google even agrees. Look, he's in this list of many people. Look at all those people. They're so cool. Even as a young boy in London, Nolan was interested in films and filmmaking. He grew up to study English literature at UCL like a king. Jax wanted to major in English lit.
English lit.
English lit. I don't know why the L is capitalized. I don't know what it means, so I'm just saying.
Literature. English literature. It's literally in the sentence. The same line. Listen, what we're trying to say is I wanted to study and major in English literature, but didn't go to university because I'm dumb.
Lit.
Lit.
He made his feature debut with Following from 1998. He gained international recognition with the second
or a
film.
following, one could say.
He got international recognition with his second film, which was Memento. Look at that. It's right there. It's so big.
Whoa.
It's very cool. This one.
When they
one of his
say the
first things.
title, when they say the title of the movie in the movie, whoa.
Whoa. It's deep.
Deep.
With Memento, he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Screenplay. He later went on to direct Insomnia, The Dark Knight Trilogy, The Prestige, Inception, and a bunch of other very, very famous films. Look at this list. It's a list indeed.
You go, Dylan. You go. Look at you go.
To quote his wiki, Nolan has received many awards and honors. Time named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2015, and in 2019 he was appointed Commander of the Order of the British Empire for his services to film. That's quite the status. Chris do be a good boy, though.
He do! Christopher Nolan's a good boy. He's a good director. I like all of his films. Oh, okay, not all of them, but that's not because he's a bad director, it's just because it's not my kind of movie.
I can't name a single one off the top of my head, even though I just read like 6 of them.
Inception! The Dark
yes,
Knight.
I haven't seen it. Haven't seen it. This may be a movie channel, but I've seen nothing. We've been DMCA'd.
Oh.
Anyway, on to the next person. We got Guy Pearce. He's a New Zealand / Australian / British actor whose father was in the NZRAF.
Bro, don't disrespect them that way. You say the entire fucking acronym.
I did, it's the NZRAF.
I will end you.
The NZRAF.
It's Z, not Z, but sure.
AKA the New Zealand Royal Air Force. Very epic. And his mother was an English school teacher. Guy was born in... That's a British sounding name.
I know,
Cambridgeshire.
is that
That's
not
the most British sounding name I've ever heard. Is that Cambridgeshire or Cambridgeshire?
Cambridgeshire, I think. Or Cambridgeshire.
Cambridgeshire.
Oh, you're so Canadian.
Yes. Anyway, he was born there. He was born in this place in England on the 5th of October in 1967. Known for his roles in Aussie show Neighbours and in films like Memento, obviously, Ravenous, The Count of Monte Cristo, Iron Man 3, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and who could forget The Wizards of Oz! And, no, I am not shitting you. Look, it's right there. Look at it. It's very cool. He's a wizard.
Look at it. Look at this. Look at it.
Look at this
also, we
piece
can watch
of
this
art.
At some point.
Absolutely. Next Wizards of Oz.
Yeah, the Wizards of Oz. Of Oz. Aussie. The Wizards of Aussie.
Hey.
Wait, is that... No, it's not. Never mind. I saw the skeleton in the background, and I thought that was Ahmed the terrorist. Ahmed the dead terrorist from what's his name? The puppet guy. He's so funny.
It's one of the few. Jeff
He's
Dunham?
literally one of my yeah. He's one of my favorite comedians. How did I forget his name?
I don't know. I never knew what he did. I just knew his name until recently.
Anyway, continue.
He was also in a fair few other things, which I will put right here. That's another list. Look at list.
Wow, list.
But as far as awards go, he's had very few nominations and little to no wins, despite the fact that he's a fantastic actor. R.I.P. Guy. Guy dead. Rip him.
Rip Guy Pearce.
I don't think he's actually dead, but still, rip Guy.
No, he's definitely not dead. If Guy Pearce was Batman, I'd watch it.
Fair enough. Anyway, next up we have Carrie Ann Moss. She made a moss. She's like a forestry carpet. Check it out. Born August 21st, 1967. Has a pretty decent filmography with appearances in several Marvel TV shows. For example, Jessica Jones as Jerry Hogarth, Silent Hill Revelation, Disturbia, The Matrix and Other Matrixy Things, and Memento, along with a bunch of others. She's won 4 awards for these. Again, they'll be on screen, but what's really cool is that she's been video game voices. In 2003, she voiced Trinity in Enter the Matrix, which I haven't actually played, and between 2010 and this year, she voiced, how do I pronounce this? Arya
Have you not played Mass Effect?
I have not.
Out of all the people I would have expected to play Mass Effect, you're definitely on the list. So why have you not played it?
I've been meaning to for the longest time.
I really thought I wouldn't have to look up a pronunciation for her name. Wow. Doesn't say any... Just say it however you want.
Tloke.
Tloke.
But yeah, between 2010 and this year, she voiced Arya Tloke in Mass Effect 2, 3, and Legendary Edition. Someone help me with the pronunciation in the comments, please. How do I pronounce this word? T's and L's should never be together like that.
I agree.
Anyway, finally, we have Joe Pantano.
Die.
I purposely didn't read over his name just to see what would happen. So, finally, we have Joe Pantoliano, born September 12th, 1951. All these people are very old now. Doesn't feel like that long ago, but it is now, I guess. Time is weird.
Ooh, vib vib.
Vib vib. He's an American actor who was featured in 150 plus films and stage productions. That's a lot. Most notably, The Goonies, MASH, Risky Business, La Bamba, The Fugitive, Empire of the Sun, Bad Boys, Memento, The Matrix, and The Sopranos, which have earned him a few award nominations and an award. He's also had voices in GTA 3, which I believe I've played that one at least, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, think I've played that one as well, actually, and Majestic as Albert Arlington and Tim Pritchard, respectively.
Wow, that is all the information.
Yes. I only screwed up 50 times.
So yeah, so we've got Carrie and Joe who have voiced characters in video games, which is really cool, and I really hope you're putting up all of the characters on screen when you say them, and or when I do, either way, it's fine. But yeah, all very interesting personalities, and the fact that this was Christopher Nolan's like kind of entry into thing, like his feature debut was Following, but this was his second film, and he already had so many like now very famous people in it, like Guy Pearce, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Joe Pantoliano, who, like we said, has been over 150 films and stage productions, which is fucking wild. The fact that he is such a good actor, and obviously a notably good actor, otherwise there's no way he would be in 150 plus films and stage productions. The fact that he's got one award, how? Being
in that many things in one lifetime, like, how?
And not even like a full lifetime, like he's still below retirement age, so that's insane.
Like, this boy still ain't done somehow.
Yeah. Well, that's all the information we gathered. It was really interesting, and we hope you guys learned quite a lot from that. But now, it's time to move on to Phase 5. Now, Phase 5 is, what do you think this film is trying to express, if anything, and are there any theories? So, what do you think this film is trying to express, if anything?
That amnesia is torture, and if anyone has it, they should just give up now, because it's not gonna get easier. It's all gonna be constant pain.
I don't think that's true. I see two main ideas in this film. The first one is persistence, the ability to persist through an extreme mental disorder that renders people pretty much incapable of forming new memories, creating relationships and everything, but still forming friendships even if they're quite vague, and pushing through it to reach your goals, which is obviously an incredibly difficult thing to do, physical or mental disability aside. And then, the second thing I see from it is that revenge isn't fulfilling. Like, it doesn't matter if you get your revenge, because it's not going to end up fulfilling that deep, intense desire in your heart, because you're gonna keep needing to do it again and again and again until you realize that you aren't getting anything from what you're doing. That's what I see.
A lot better than what I had.
Yeah, no shit.
I did have the more optimistic one, though. Since when does that happen?
I know, right? When was I the optimist? Pretty sure I'm the opposite, but that's fine. No, so that's what I see from it. And I'm sure there's plenty of other ones as well. Like maybe the corruption of humanity and people being blatantly selfish and going out of their way to get what they want while effectively completely disadvantaging someone else and using them for using them for their own kind of personal pleasure or their goals while kind of pushing him down in the process, instead of choosing to tell Leonard, hey, we did it, we got your John, now you can kind of work on getting better, maybe going into the care of family members, or getting a job and settling down and forming new relationships, or at least trying to, and things like that. Instead of helping him do that, Teddy decides to use Leonard for his own personal gain for over a year, knowing that he won't remember it, kind of showing the willful deception and corruption of humanity that we see every day. Maybe could be another one, but that is looking kind of so far into it that it might not even be even remotely what Christopher was thinking about. But it's something that maybe you could pick up from watching the film. But yeah, that's what I get from the film anyway. With me saying that, do you think there's anything else you could think of that maybe the film is trying to express?
Not really. I think You got it pretty good.
Oh, look at me and how cool and smart I am.
Yes.
Wow. Now, in the short amount of time I was able to look shit up, I only really found one fan theory about this film. I'm sure there are plenty, but again, time. So here it is. This is from u/dog of the military on Reddit. And I'll read some of the replies too. So here's the theory. Leonard's wife did die in the attack. She didn't have diabetes, and in the memory of Sammy's wife overdosing on insulin, it truly did happen to Sammy's wife. In other words, Leonard is completely right about his drive. Piece of evidence number 1, the quote insulin incident would have happened after Leonard lost his ability to make new memories if his wife had been the victim of it. This is probably the easiest argument to make about why it couldn't have been his wife who overdosed. Essentially, if Leonard had killed his wife, it would have happened after he acquired his condition. This means if he wouldn't remember it, nor have a reason to apply it to his memory of Sammy, if he were able to condition himself to remember. He would remember it happening if it happened before his condition, though. And the whole Sammy incident, of course, happened before his condition, meaning there's no reason to believe it happened to Leonard to begin with. But hey, writers make mistakes, and maybe that was one of them. If so, it's a huge one though. So, let's look at my other arguments. Evidence number 2. Had Leonard been sent to a mental hospital after the so-called insulin incident, he wouldn't have remembered that either. Another strangely easy argument to speak against. Basically, there's certain scenes where you'll see Sammy sitting in a mental hospital, and then right as the scene is about to end, it shows Leonard sitting in what was Sammy's place. I don't think this could have been his original memories resurfacing, or something to that effect, because he still, as before, wouldn't have even had those memories to begin with if they had occurred to him and not Sammy. Leonard being in a mental hospital for killing his wife would have happened after he already had his condition, while Sammy being in a mental hospital for killing his wife would have happened before he had his condition. He'd remember it if it happened to his... He would have remembered it if it happened to Sammy. He wouldn't remember it if it happened to himself. I seriously don't know how people overlook these things. I'm assuming they're just creative cinematography or something like that. Evidence number 3. In one of his memories, Leonard has a tattoo that reads, "I've done it." In this photo, which will be on screen, you can see the tattoo in question. This tattoo is only seen in this one particular moment, an alleged memory of Leonard's that shows his wife alive after the attack. Now, as I've gone over constantly, he obviously wouldn't have this memory, but let's say even if he did have this memory, Leonard suddenly doesn't have that tattoo, which would, most likely, mean the entire memory is a fabrication. That's why I'm just assuming that these scenes were meant to be, as I said before, creative cinematography or whatever it's called. I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty sure you know exactly what I mean by that. Basically, for these 3 pieces of evidence, I'm making the claim that any scenes perceived to be Leonard's memories that contradict his side of the story aren't memories at all. Here are some questions that aren't solid evidence, but still make the idea that Leonard killed his wife a little bit far-fetched. Question 1. If Leonard's memories were manipulated, who the fuck would he have been talking to originally every time he was talking to Sammy's wife, who is supposed to not exist? 2. Who the fuck would have helped condition Leonard's memories to be as manipulated as they supposedly were? I mean, there's no way in hell he did all that shit himself when every 5 minutes he can't remember what he was doing before, so somebody would have had to help him, and who the fuck would have done such a thing? Especially when in the next 5 minutes, he might not even want to change his memories, when he couldn't remember why he wanted to do it in the 5 minutes before. And number 3, even if he had conditioned himself to remember these events and then apply them to his memory of Sammy, what the fuck was the point of it? He could have just continued not remembering said events and had no problem with the rest of his, I suppose, quote, journey. They then say, I really need feedback on this because to me it all just seems so incredibly obvious that there's no way he killed his wife, but I don't know if I'm oversimplifying it or not. Now here's some responses. From a deleted user, just to play devil's advocate, it is established clearly in the movie that if Leonard's condition was psychological, new memories could be formed, they would just be suppressed in the subconscious. This was the point of the electrified object test that Sammy took. We don't know for sure that Leonard's condition was physical, so we don't know for sure that new memories were impossible for him. But then someone else says, if he could create absolutely no new memories, then how did he consistently know that he couldn't create new memories? Mind blown. I guess with that one, just to interject really quick, personally, I think if he could create absolutely no new memories, how did he consistently know he couldn't create new memories? Well, because he treated Sammy Jankis, or rather he was the insurance dude, the insurance handler for Sammy Jankis. So he would go, this is what Sammy Jankis claimed to have, and now this is what I have, because I can't remember what happened before right now, but I see a bunch of tattoos on me that I don't remember getting. It's the kind of thing where you'd have to piece it all together in your head, but I do see what they mean when they say that.
Yeah.
Someone else says, like many have said, his condition is psychological. Here's a full breakdown chronologically. Lenny works the claim on Sammy Jenkins. Sammy is a con man. No wife, no insulin. Attack happens. Lenny's wife is raped. Lenny has a mental breakdown. The attack causes him to fabricate the concept of memory loss to forget what happened. He kills his wife with an insulin overdose. He's institutionalized and later released. Teddy, the cop assigned to Lenny's attack, helps him find the killer because he feels sorry for him. He uses his memory of Sammy Jankis as a way to cover up and forget his own psychological struggle. That's why in the flashbacks you see the story of Sammy Jankis, but they parallel those scenes with Lenny and his wife because those were his real memories deep in his subconscious peeking through. He ignores that he killed his wife because after the attack he couldn't cope. This is all my personal interpretation of the film. It could be wrong, but that felt most true to me. And that's all the responses anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and save this r/fan theories and speculation subreddit.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very
So there's a lot of
interesting,
debate
very
kind of on whether or not Sammy and Leonard are one and the same. I personally don't think they are the same. I think I agree with the summary of of OP's whole thing of Dog of the Militaries. I agree with their theory. I think they are right with what they say. I think it is a bit oversimplified maybe, but even then, none of the comments specifically actually rebutted everything that was pointed out in the thing, other than saying, well, it's strictly psychological, which I think is a possibility, but it just seems a little bit far-fetched. But then at the same time, I think it's entirely possible as well. But overall, I don't see Teddy as an overly sympathetic character. I see him as a very manipulative and self-centered character, hence why he used Leonard afterwards in the first place. So I don't think he was trying to help Leonard. I think he was actually trying to help himself, and so he wouldn't actually have that reasoning that other person in the responses gave, is what I'm trying to say. That's my personal feeling on it anyway, but again, I could be wrong. The only person who actually knows is the original writer. I think it's based on a book, I think. But if not, then Christopher Nolan himself.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole thing. That's very interesting. It was a lot. Still confusing.
If there is one thing you can give Nolan for this, is how profound of a film his second film was.
Yeah.
Number 2, his second one, and it was such a huge hit. I don't think you'll find many directors, especially now that the market for films and shows and everything is so oversaturated. I don't think you're going to find another director who gets that big of a hit on his second film. And I really do mean like second released film, like into the world. Like, I don't think I've personally heard of another director in the last 5 years who kickstarted their career on one film, got, a decent amount of recognition, and then created another film and then got $31 million back from it. And to have a $9 million budget for your second released film is, again, insane, especially because back then that was so much money. $9 million back then was so much fucking money.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Wow.
Yeah, so somehow he managed to get a really big hit on his first film that landed him getting a second film being made, that he made, where he was somehow managed to get a $9 million budget, turned that into a profit of $31 million. Obviously, that doesn't all go to him and so on and so forth, but it grossed a profit of $31 million, totaling $40 million. How does someone do that? And I'll say the reason that they're able to do it is, the reason he was able to do it was because he is such a talented director. He was so good, and obviously someone saw that and went, I want in. And now look at him. Like we said, he is on the list of like the 10 most famous directors, full stop. Like, in at least American history.
And he's definitely way up there too.
To be on a list of famous directors next to Alfred Hitchcock, that is a feat and a half. Stanley Kubrick, Tim Burton, Wes Anderson, David Lynch, like all of these people, even like Martin Scorsese, everyone knows those names, and everyone who has watched a movie has probably seen at least one movie from one of these people. Because they are up there. And then you've got Christopher Nolan, who makes these very out there films, not out there in terms of being like outside of the public sphere of comfort or anything, like Martyrs or what's it called, Salo, but or Cannibal Holocaust, but like more on the lines of it was so out of the box and creative, and I don't think anyone else would have thought of it. And the way he directs his films are also impeccable. And things like Inception has been copied over and over and over again in different forms. There's actually an anime that I think was inspired by Inception, not all the way, but there were like 10 episodes that kind of repeated but had different changes and everything. And it's called The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Put up the thing. And, clearly even in countries like Japan, where they make completely different styles of film, and their, I guess you would say, main form of media that gets delivered to other countries would be anime. The fact that Nolan's films have so much impact on worldwide media that even Japan is making stuff like with that is either based on or takes inspiration from his films, to me is insane, especially considering how quick his jumpstart was. So if you're going to give anything to Nolan, it's probably that. You might go, oh, I've never seen Inception, but everyone's heard of it. I can promise you, if I had said to my 8-year-old niece right now, have you ever heard of Inception? She'd be like, I think so.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've heard of it and known about it for many, many years, since I was probably around 10, 12.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've known about it since I was really, really little. And there are cult classics or big hit movies that a lot of people have never seen, especially in our generation and below. Things like Psycho, the original Psycho, which got remade into a TV show, which is really fucking good, by the way. Things like Jurassic Park, things like Inception, The Matrix, and everything. I know that there are a lot of people in our generation who actually have not seen those, but everyone knows them.
Yeah.
Every single person knows them. But when I think directors, I think Jurassic Park, that was, I think, Steven Spielberg. But I think Inception, and I go, oh, I know exactly who that is. That's Christopher Nolan. Yeah, sorry. This is me standing Christopher Nolan. I hope he didn't do anything illegal.
Yes. We'll have to look into that.
If he's done big bad things like Harvey Weinstein, just know that I've got my fingers crossed behind my back. But if he's a good boy and has never done anything like that, I would never cross my fingers behind my back, because he's such a good boy, is what I'm saying.
Basically, he's cool until we learn that he did something stupid. Then he sucks.
Yes. Have you got anything to add? Just kind of, maybe do you want to summarize the episode?
Basically, overall, you've been big braining this. You understood everything. Stan Christopher Nolan. I've just been sitting here confused the whole time. I don't know what I'm doing. Someone help me.
He's in my basement. Don't save him.
Chris, you confuse me. stan Christopher Nolan, but also, please, help. Go easy on me, Chris.
Go easy on you, damn, dude. I thought you were in my basement, but now I'm starting to maybe think otherwise.
Don't worry, he locked me in his basement for a few years. Not enough to stop standing him, though.
Oh, okay.
It's fine, he gave me crackers and water, I'm fine.
Dude, we have one fan. That's it, that's the sentence. No, we have one guy who watches our content who only watches for the bushes. So, I don't know, say something. Anything about the bushes.
Sorry, just a minute. I am back.
Very cool.
Yes, what's going on now? I was just invaded.
Really?
Yes.
I said something to you, but how am I supposed to remember? You're supposed to.
I don't remember. I'm the forgetful one.
Listen, at the end of the day, we've reviewed the film. We like it. What would you give the film? Maybe we should start doing this at the end of the things.
I'd give it 8 Christopher Nolans out of 6 Steven Spielbergs out of 10.
I personally, with this film, would give it a 9 out of 10. Again, there are some bits where I thought maybe it was a bit unsatisfying, and the ending overall was very, like, it had good twists and everything, but there are some bits where I was left a little bit. But, yeah, 9 out of 10. Good movie. And I think, what was it, like 8.6 out of 10? So people definitely agree.
Yeah, I would probably put it at an 8 out of 10. Bumping it down 1 away from yours just because I couldn't comprehend a lot of it.
It definitely doesn't help if you're not comprehensive of the stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you all so much for coming and watching. Again, we're a little rusty. We need to do this a little more often because I feel like the quality of our conversations is starting to go down, whereas obviously over the course of time we want it to go up a bit more. Maybe we rewatch the next one before we make a video. Hey, well, again, thank you guys so much for coming in, hanging out, watching, having a good time, and we hope you enjoyed it too. Make sure you leave a like, comment, share it, subscribe, hit that bell, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, subscribe or I will find you. I will hunt you down. I don't care how long it takes. I will come to your house in the middle of the night. I will find you. I'm going to bring a rusty knife with me to cut down your wall, and I will make a turtle-shaped hole and crawl right through it. I will come right up to your bed. I will hit you very gently, and I will whisper into your ear and then back out through the window and never come back. Don't even try calling the police. They won't do anything. I own them.
I won't do that.
Anyway, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, hit that bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.